Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omni video, and today we are taking on Dorgann Shinryu fight. I know this video is a little late getting out. I did record it like right away on my phone, but like, dude, Thanksgiving weekend, I've just family stuff all weekend, like just no time to record. So I'm dumping out a bunch of videos here on Sunday, and I've got some stuff scheduled out. So you can see these enemies very aggressive right away. I decided to go very defensive on this team comp here, and so the idea here with Dorgann is that anytime the enemies get broken, Dorgann's going to follow up. So that's very, very nice. And I've got Gladio here to help defend, and I've got Core. So my thought is I want to try Dorgann, his force time, because off turn is part of his force time, just like, you know, Core and some of these other defense comp type characters. And so my thought is to use Dorgann's force, and to have these defensive characters like proc a lot of off turn, right? Now, in retrospect, I think I definitely know there's better teams that can get this one done. I think in retrospect, I'd maybe opt to take a more offensive team here. But you're going to notice these enemies are like extremely tanky, and I'm doing a lot of like ones and like low damage and like zeros to these guys. I honestly didn't really read them ahead of time. I just jumped in and assumed Dorgann would make it all okay. And I know that this mission calls for wind damage. So you can see I did bring a Fujin call there. So my plan is I'm going to drop the Fujin call right before the force. And actually what happens is Dorgann, when I trigger his force, it disables whatever's making these enemies so tanky. And then during the force, I'm going to be able to do a lot better damage. But you can see what these guys are doing is they're capping my max brave. Look how low my max brave is. So Gladio's at 391 max brave, and he's over cap. So the max brave is just insane. Insanely low. So that is something coming from the enemies here. So we basically, all I do is like, you know, I was tempted to like give up and like read the bosses more and see like if I was doing something wrong. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe this will be fine. So I basically play it out and just get to the force time, and then my thought was if the force time didn't turn out good, then I would like go back and redo it. So this is me jumping in very blind, so keep that in mind when you're watching this video. It's not like me studying and doing all that, but you see we're starting to get some decent damage there out of Gladio, especially with the launch star. I mean, 247k still not great, but considering how low our max brave floor is right now, I guess we'll take it, right? So we're going to kind of continue through here. And once again, I decide to wait until the forest before I'm going to pop that Fujin call, right? And we've got Selfie out right now. So all I'm doing is my traditional like kind of core Selfie setup, where I'm getting Oath of Absolute Defense on both characters. Selfie's got launching going at this point. And then we are simply just going to go in and force charge with Selfie on her next turn. And then we're going to go ahead and get Dorgann back in. Get Dorgann's force time going and kind of go from there, right? So I do decide, I'm like, yeah, I think we're pretty much in the range. I know we're only at 50%, but I know Selfie's going to charge up almost to 100 because she's got 4 charges and she gets about 10% per charge. So I'm like, doing the math in my head, I'm like, yeah, I think after Selfie, we're going to be about there. So I decide to pop the Fujin call, so now everybody's doing wind damage. So that's going to be very good. And you can see as we're progressing through the fight, the damage is increasing a little bit. The brave is going a little bit higher. So I'm like, all right, that's good. That's good. I feel like we're kind of getting somewhere. We're not doing ones anymore. The damage is starting to increase. So I'm like, at this point, I'm just thinking, all right, let's just get Dorgann going here, and we should be good. Now, it might be something like, and I still haven't read it, to be honest. Like, I haven't read the bosses yet. But the way this fight is going, I feel like it's something where it's like the more wind hits we're doing to these guys, like, they're letting up a little bit, because now you notice after I pop Fujin call, we're all doing wind damage, and it seems like our max brave is going up. We're doing more damage. So basically when I end there, whatever it is that's messing with me, and we got 0 damage there, which is good, which I don't remember if I put a Raijin call on or something, but there was something that was messing with that. Or it could have been from Dorgann too, because Dorgann has an effect that does like 0 HP damage, but we had something which is good because these enemies are fairly aggressive, right? So now we're just going to wall out here, and we're going to force charge, and this should basically take us to the house. And then my thought is like, all right, well, let's see what a Dorgann force time does and see how low we get him. And my thought is if I don't get him to at least 50%, I might like kind of just regroup and try again and maybe read the bosses up a little bit more. But I do, like, I'm someone that kind of intentionally, I don't research bosses a lot ahead of time just because I like to go in and just kind of figure it out myself. And it's up to me. The only thing I went in is I always check for elemental lockout, right? So I saw that, I think wind and I think ice is actually okay on this one. But I'm like, yeah, let's just do Fujin Call. We'll do the full wind. Because I didn't want to mix in the ice because you want wind damage for Dorgann's Force. And I really wanted to feature Dorgann's Force here. Now, I wouldn't have to. I could have done like core Force time and I could be wind and ice and it would be fine. But we do bring in Luna Freya here. And I pretty much just get the Awakening on to give Dorgann a bunch of turns. And then that is going to set up here to get the Force time. So now we're in Force time. And I do believe, if I remember right, there is a message that pops up here. And that tells me, like, oh, I think they're done being mean to me. So we'll see. I do believe a message triggers here on these guys. So we go through the launch. And let's see what the message says here. So let's see. Force time. And then player Max Brave down, cancel. Yeah, so they had some kind of aura Max Brave down that was just crimping me to all heck. So I'm guessing entering Force time with wind damage is what stops it. Probably something like that, right? So Dorgann or Fujin are like the only Force time. And I did like consider bringing Fujin into this because I have Blue Jin. I've got Fujin Blue and fully built. I think Fujin would do very well here. So if I get extra time, which I'm going to be honest is unlikely, I might actually do a run on this with Fujin, which would be kind of fun. And the reason why I say it's unlikely I'm going to free time is because I was crazy busy this weekend, which you probably noticed there was like a few days that like I just didn't have any videos. It was literally like I was in family time, like basically from Wednesday night all the way till Sunday afternoon. I was just constantly with family and and I was away from my recording stuff. So basically I'm recording this on Sunday and I'm pushing out a ton of videos because I'm super behind because Dragon Ball Heroes, I've done barely any content on that. And there's like a ton of showcases. And now Dragon Ball's got Vegeta and Trunks coming tonight. And then I know tomorrow we got community stream. So I'm like, all right, we got to push out a bunch now so I can keep up with the new stuff that's coming. And then I'm planning for the Dragon Ball Heroes stuff. That's going to be kind of just like my filler. I'm just going to record that when I can. And it'll just make sure I have a video a day for a while. So just keep an eye out that they'll just kind of maybe be a daily Dragon Ball Heroes video for a while until I'm done with those showcase. And then the DFFOO I'm going to try to keep up with as I normally would. I think my BT token guide is up, so I got that. I might record a Should You Poll. I kind of want to wait for community stream to make sure that it's actually Sid Rain cycle coming, but it should be Sid Rain cycle. So I'll do a Should You Poll on that, hopefully, within the next couple of days. But we'll see what the community stream says. Or who knows, maybe I'll record it tonight. We'll see. Because I forgot to do a Should You Poll on the last one, because Dorgann just snuck up on me, like, really quick, right? And I know people do like the Should You Polls. I know somebody, like, I've been getting comments that people want me to do, like, a, whatchamacallit. They want me to do a poll planning video, and it's like, maybe. I could maybe do that, but I pretty much am upfront with, like, the thing is, like, getting a poll planning video from, like, some of the YouTubers isn't really super valid, because a lot of us have, like, I mean, my resources aren't crazy right now, but, like, a lot of YouTubers have, like, 1 million gems. So, like, a poll planning video from them isn't, like, going to be super valid, because they could be like, yeah, I'm just going to pull for all of it. I've got the resources, right? And a poll plan video, even from someone like me, I don't know how valid that's going to be, because, like, what I pull for isn't necessarily what I would recommend the average player to pull for. So I feel like a better video would be, like, just a monthly, like, Should You Poll, but I'm doing the individual Should You Polls, right? Because I know that's what people want. They want insight. They want to know who to pull for, things like that. So, just because I'm pulling for something, it doesn't mean that you should pull for something. And the thing that's tough with me is I have every LD in the game except for, like, 2, right? So there isn't much I even need to pull on. And so I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to be skipping a ton the next month or so, other than, like, Jack Garland, because most of these characters, all I would need is the FR. And I've got such a buildup of good FRs that I don't need more FRs. Because the FR, other than, like, the weapon stats, doesn't actually make the character that much better unless you're planning to use their FR phase, right? But it's like, I've got Tifa, I've got Renoa, I've got Core, I've got Celes, Minwu, like, all of these really good top-tier building up FRs. I just don't need other FRs. And so, like, I'll use Sid Reigns as an example, right? I've got Reigns fully built up, Although Reigns has a BT, so I guess that's a little bit different. So, I don't know. What's another example? Just like, so like, just any character that's got, like, FR only, right? Not BT. But for any character in that situation, it's like, I've got them fully built. The FR doesn't affect their kit outside of just having the FR phase, and then you get a little stats from the weapon. But I could throw an Ultima weapon on them, and they're actually going to be better than the FR. And as long as I'm not using their FR phase, like, the character's still just as good. So it's like, really, when you're looking at pulling an FR, you should be more looking at, like, is this an FR I'm going to use a lot to beat fights? And if you're like, well, I'm just going to use T-FR or no FR, then you probably don't need to pull for those FRs, right? And resources are tight. Like, you only have so many high power stones. You only have so many 4 stones, right, to upgrade these characters. So, for me, I'm in a position that I have such a stacked roster that I don't really need to worry about it. By the way, there's a fight going on that I should probably be talking about. So, here we are. We're at the end of Force time. We got the 635%. Did my usual where I summoned my big dude at the end. We did, what, like 8 mil or something AoE there. Now we're trying to get our last hurrah attack in with a nice big fat launch. You can see the Max Brave no longer is hindered. And let's see what we got these guys. Yeah, and we got these guys down to single digit percentages, right? And then the image slash follow-up is going to be clutch here. Because that was just an extra 3 mil AoE we threw on from the image slash. So that was very good. And just like that, literally all we did was we got to the Force time, canceled their Max Brave down. And now we're good. And I'm pretty sure now we're back to like doing ones and stuff again, because right now obviously we're doing earth damage, so elemental lockout, that's to be expected. But as soon as the summon is over, we're going to go back to doing normal damage. We'll have our wind damage going, all of that, and I'm pretty sure we get this done without needing another Force time. Like, we're able to just melt these guys down normally, and at this point I'm able to go all out. Like, I can pop LDs every turn, I can, you know, do whatever. And the crazy thing with this fight is I don't even have a BT, so I didn't even use a BT phase here. So I could have, say, brought like maybe Celis and Gladio's slot, because Celis has ice damage, which would have been just fine here, right? So I think Celis would do very well in this fight. Obviously, these enemies are clearly physical damage dealers. They're big, like, cavemen type units, right? But Celis BT takes care of that, and she would absorb. So I think Celis would probably do good here. I would avoid Minwoo because of the holy damage, but yeah, I think Celis and I think Luna Freya is probably fine in this fight. So I think because you're open to ice and wind, I think there's a lot of options for this fight that you're actually going to be okay with. So there's definitely a lot of routes here, but this just happened to be the first team I thought to try, and we get it done just fine, right? It's going to be, what, probably around 20-ish turns. I don't remember where it finishes, but, you know, we've already got them at 4%, 3%. You could try something kind of silly, like, I know the big team comp, and I think I do want to do a showcase of it, and shoot, I might actually record that right after this video, because I do want to do it. I want to showcase Dorgann, Tifa, and Sephiroth, that specific team comp. I think I do want to do a showcase of that, so while I'm thinking about it, I think right after I'm done recording this, I might throw that sucker up there. I might not put it up the same night, though. I might space it out a little bit, because this is already my second DFFOO video of the night, so I don't need to overwhelm you guys, but we'll get there. But yeah, they're down to 3%, so it's pretty much me just kind of whittling them down here. And, you know, just with the defensive team comp like this, we're just kind of fine the whole way through. No real risk of dying here. You know, at the beginning, though, they can just come in and, like, one-shot you, right? So you do have to be careful at the beginning, because they are pretty aggressive early on. But as long as you have some type of mitigation, you're good here. And yeah, we're at 52%, they're at 62%. I'm obviously always scared to let them get their Force time. And some enemies, I feel like their Force time is just like auto kill, so like you can't let some enemies get their Force. But yeah, they're both at 1%, so we're definitely going to beat them there. And I decided to just kind of like do core LD, like go crazy, you know, Gladio LD, just use all my LDs up and do my big damage here. Try to break as much as possible. And there's one enemy popped. And then image slash, I think this might finish off the other one. Pretty darn close. So this attack here from Gladio will finish it for sure. Yeah, go ahead and just LD for fun, right? Why not? And then chain attack, yep, and we're done here. So anyways, guys, there you go. 19 turn clear of this Shinryu fight. Got it done first try, no problem. Not reading the fight very much, but just knew I wanted wind damage. And then I kind of figured out the hard way that, wow, they're really crimping my Max Brave, but the Force time took care of that. So anyways, guys, hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.